Nana Shatnama. Components of this PPE. It includes goggles, face shields, masks, gloves, coveralls or gowns with or without aprons, head covers, and shoe covers. So we'll see individually what the functions of these individual components are. Face shields and goggles, they protect us of our mucous membranes of our eyes, nose, and mouth. So they prevent the droplets generated by the cough, sneeze of an infected person, and the droplets that are generated during the aerosol generating procedures, and also from inadvertently ourselves touching our own contaminated hand to our mucous membranes. These goggles and face should be clear. They should be anti-fogging, and they should provide a good seal, and they should also help us in accommodating our prescription glasses. Coming to the masks, there are two types of masks recommended, a triple layer medical mask and an N95 respirator mask. And this recommendation depends upon the nature of your work environment. So this triple layer medical masks are disposable, fluid resistant, and they provide protections from droplets of infection emitted during coughing and sneezing and also talking. This N95 respiratory masks also have a high filtration efficiency. They have a very close fit and high fluid resistance. They have a good breathability, and they have a cup-shaped structural design for a good fit. Coming to gloves, Ministry of Health recommends the usage of nitrile gloves rather than your latex gloves. They should be powder free and they should be the standards as recommended. Coming to the coveralls or gowns, they both prevent or protect the torso of an healthcare provider. The coverall gives a 360-degree protection, covers the whole body, whereas gowns, they don't provide a continuous whole body protection. They will cover only till your mid-calves. But the advantages, they are easy to put on and for removal, and it's recommended to wear an apron the entire time over the gowns. And some few recommendations are to avoid culturally unacceptable colors like black, and preferably light colors are used because it's easy to detect the possible contamination. And they recommend thumb finger or loops to anchor sleeves in their spaces, and the quality should meet the following standards. Some tissue cover and head covers, they're made up of impermeable fabrics. If you're using gowns, it's recommended that the head cover should cover your head and the neck, and the hair and the hair extension should fit inside your head covers. So now coming to the topic of rational use of PPE, as we all know, there are limited resources of PPE now available. So it is logical to have a rational usage of these PPEs. So we will be seeing them based upon the risk profile of an healthcare provider as well as the work settings. So first, the point of entry. Then we'll be seeing the usage in the hospital setting. Then for healthcare workers in community setting, in a quarantine facility, and home quarantine. So first point of entry is like airports and ports. We'll be dividing it into the areas of low risk, medium risk, and high risk areas. In low risk areas, in these point of entries are your help desk, the immigration counters, customs and airport security, and temperature recording stations. So these areas, since they are of low risk, you have to provide the workers there with a triple layer medical mask and gloves. And also minimum distance of 1 meter should be maintained. And next comes the areas of moderate risk. In these areas of points of entry, the areas of moderate risk will be the holding area and the isolation facilities of your airport health office or port health office. Then isolation facilities where the clinical management is carried out by the doctors and nurses, and the sanitized staffs who carry out the cleaning process there. And sanitized staffs in most of the places, they fall under your moderate risk zone. And since they are in the moderate risk zone, you have to provide them with the N95 mask and gloves. And the area of a high risk in this point of entry will be an isolation facility area. There they will be attending to severely ill passengers. Since it's a high risk area where aerosol generating procedures can be anticipated, they have to be provided with the full complement of PPE. And then comes the area of no risk area. Obviously, the administrative staffs who will not be attending to any patients, they are not required for any PPE. And the point to be noted is they should not venture into the areas where the suspects of COVID-19 cases are being managed. So next, coming to our hospital setting, it can be divided into first an outpatient department, since most of the hospitals now have a separate respiratory clinic or separate screening area. The area of the moderate risk in this OP department will be starting with your triage area, then comes your screening area, help desk for your registration counter, then temperature recording station, then your holding area, the waiting area, then the doctor's chamber, then comes the sanitary staff. So in this triage area is the area where you sort out the patients, and it's necessary to provide the patient there with a mask. Since all these come under a moderate risk zone, you have to provide the healthcare workers working there with an N95 mask and gloves. Next comes a visitor who accompanies a kid or an elderly person for a navigation purpose. They fall under a low risk category. So it's important for them to have a triple layer mask, but they should also practice hand hygiene. Next comes an inpatient services, and the areas of high risk in this will be your ICU or critical care unit. Since this falls under an high risk zone, and since aerosol generating procedures are expected here, they have to be provided with a full complement of PPE. And if an untoward incident occurs in ICU where there's a death, because a dead body packing has to be carried out, it's a high risk category, so it have to be provided with a full complement of PPE. Next comes to moderate risk. The individuals in isolation rooms or cohorted isolation rooms, so clinical management of these patients are done. The patients have to be masked, and the patient is stable and no aerosol generating activities are expected. You can provide them with N95 masks and gloves. And also, I already told you, sanitation worker falls under the moderate risk zone, so they will be provided with N95 and gloves. Now comes the low risk area. After an untoward incident, handling and dead body falls under moderate risk, but transporting and dead body to the mortuary falls under the low risk area. So the worker should be provided with a triple layer medical mask and gloves. And a caretaker who is along with the patient, admitted patient, falls under low risk. So provide them with a triple layer mask. The caretaker should follow hand hygiene practice and should maintain a distance of 1 meter. All other areas which are treating non-COVID patients in the hospitals, uh, for who attend infectious and non-infectious patients, the healthcare workers, the risks are assessed based upon the profiles of the patients they see, and the PP is provided based upon the respective hospital prevention control practices. And it's important that the healthcare workers and doctors who are treating non-COVID patients, they should not venture into the areas of COVID treatment area. Now comes the emergency department. Emergency department, the areas of moderate risk are those attending emergency cases where an aerosol generating procedures are anticipated, provide them with an N95 mask and a gloves since it falls under moderate risk. And if you have a known case of a severely ill acute respiratory infection, this falls under high risk. So when you're treating a known respiratory infection patient, have a full complement of PPE. Now comes the pre-hospital or ambulance service. Here, the pilot of the ambulance falls under low risk since he helps in shifting the patients to the emergency, providing with a triple layer medical mask and gloves. And the areas of moderate risk is we are transporting a patient who is not on any assisted ventilation, provide them with an N95 mask and gloves. If you are transporting a known acute respiratory infection patient, then you fall under high risk category, so provide them with a full complement of PPE. And other supportive and ancillary services like laboratory and mortuary labs, they do sample collection, they transport it, they test, they all fall under high risk category. So it is essential for us to provide a full complement of PPE to them. And in mortuary, while performing autopsy, it's a high risk category, so provide them with a full complement of PPE. And mortuary handling and dead body falls under moderate risk. So you have to provide them with an N95 mask and gloves. No embalming or no aerosol generating procedure has to be carried out. Sanitation, as already told you, it's also under moderate risk. Provide them with an N95 mask and gloves. CSSD and laundries who handle the linen used by COVID patients fall under moderate risk. So they have to be provided with an N95 mask and gloves. All the other supporting services like administrative service, engineering, financial, security services are all under no risk category. So need not provide them with an PPE, and they should not venture into the areas of COVID treatment areas. Now coming to health workers in community setting, ASHA workers, Anganwadi, other field staffs who conduct field surveillances fall under low risk category. They have to be provided with a triple layer medical mask and gloves, and they are supposed to carry adequate triple layer mask along with them to distribute to the suspects who are detected during field surveillance. Coming to doctors on a supervisory level conducting field investigations, since they carry out clinical examinations also, they fall under medium risk category and they have to be provided with N95 mask and gloves. Now, coming to the quarantine facility, the person who is being quarantined is considered to be at a low risk, so is provided with a triple layer mask. The healthcare staff working in a quarantine facility who does a temperature recording or monitors the health of the patient falls under low risk. They provide them with a triple layer mask and gloves. But if the healthcare staff worker does a clinical examination of a symptomatic patient under quarantine, then he falls under a moderate risk. So provide him with an N95 mask or a gloves. And obviously supporting staffs who take care of a quarantined person are under low risk, provide them with a triple layer mask and gloves. And for home quarantine, a person who is being quarantined is under low risk, providing the triple layer mask. And the designated family member who is going to be along with the quarantined person is also under low risk. So provide him with a gloves if he is going to touch the surfaces and handling soiled linen. Other family members are at no risk, so no PP is required for them, but they should follow a minimum distance of 1 meters. And all the senior citizens should stay away from the person who is under a home quarantine. So to conclude, as the saying goes, an ounce of protection is worth a pound of cure. And hazard poses no risk if there is no exposure to the hazard. With the limited resources available, with the proper judicial and rational use of PP will help us protect in the future. Thank you.
டவுட்ஸ் இருந்தா கொஞ்சம் சார் கேட்கலாம்.
நாளைக்கு வந்து சார் அமைச்சிருக்கிற கைட்லைன்ஸ்